let's take a look at the two models that affect how TCP/IP works. The one on the left is the OSI model, which stands for Open System Interconnect, and it's put out by a group called the ISO. This model segments each part of the process as, say, a document, for instance, would be broken down piece by piece and then finally into bits as it's sent across the network or the internet and then is received by another machine and is put back together. This model has some very good features and allows for people designing different components to have different areas to plug things into. Although this is the ideal situation here, and this is where most of the educational models that teach you about TCP/IP concentrate. It's to the point where there are cute sentences that are made to help you memorize this order. All people seem to need data processing is one particular statement that might help you to remember the order of this. Now, what is in actuality running the internet is this model right here. This model was designed by the Department of Defense and is called the DoD model. This is the original model that TCP/IP was designed on. So if you go back to the internet when it was nothing more than a few nodes for major research organizations and compared it to today, this is the model that it's functioning on. Now, what goes on in these different layers affects the ultimate transmission of data. Let's look at this information here. First of all, the application are things like word processing or items such as your web browser. How those files might be encrypted or presented to the application layer is handled in presentation. The maintenance of sessions between two computers on the internet is controlled here. The overall transport control is here. Under network is where our routers work and how data is sent from one place to the next. Data link is mainly associated with a physical address that is burned into network cards by the manufacturers. And then physical includes things such as the actual wire or fiber optic cable that's letting data be transmitted back and forth. Now you can see there's a lot of overlap between the two as well as some combination. For the most part, the top three are closely combined into the application on the DoD model. The transport is very similar. The internet is very similar to the network. And when they refer to internet, they're referring to their internetwork, not necessarily the internet itself. Although the internet is so dependent on what we're dealing with here, and the network itself works with data link as well as physical. I felt we needed to do a comparison because this model on the right, the DoD model, is actually what TCP/IP is running on. Although educationally, we tend to talk about this right here. People who are designing components for wide area networking, for instance, are trying to focus on this model here. But what it really comes down to is it's functioning right here.